All right, so one of the first things that you need to know as a beginner when it comes to starting your first ever dropshipping store is that you need to understand how to navigate through whatever platform that you're going to use. So for example, if you're going to use Shopify as your main way for you to build your dropshipping website, you need to make sure that you understand how Shopify works in detail. And the reason why I say this is because there's so many different elements that go into navigating through Shopify when it comes to listing products, adding new pages, designing your store in general. You just need to make sure that you have an understanding of how Shopify works. And of course, you can hire this out to someone else. You can find a freelancer on Upwork.com or one of those websites, which is something that you might have to do if you're completely unable to figure out how Shopify works. But if you do believe that you have the capabilities of navigating through Shopify's website and becoming somewhat proficient when it comes to building a dropshipping website, you need to make sure that you do this yourself, because you don't want to end up paying someone to do the most basic things, because all this is going to do is that it's going to set you back when it comes to achieving your goal of making $10,000. Now, when it comes to understanding how Shopify actually works and how to navigate through it, you can either go into YouTube, watch various different videos, or you can go onto my channel and watch my Shopify playlist. Or if you wanted something a little bit more step-by-step, where you're going to be able to see someone building a Shopify store in detail, going through every single little thing that you need to be aware of, then you can visit www.shopifyproject.com, where I show you everything that I personally do when it comes to building a new dropshipping website using Shopify, and everything I have to do when it comes to making sure that the website is ready for the customer. So you can either visit that website that I just said earlier, or you can visit the first link in the description down below. All right, so moving on to the second most important thing that you need to learn when it comes to making your first $10,000 as a complete beginner with your dropshipping website is that you need to understand the psychology of a customer. And when I say the psychology of a customer, you need to understand what makes them buy and what makes them make the decision to not buy. And this is something that I've been studying in detail for the past few years, and I've broken it down into a couple things. So one of the first things that makes a customer buy is the fact that they need the item. Of course, there's a lot of customers out there that buy items that they don't necessarily need, but majority of people go onto the internet, search for something with the intention to buy something that they actually need to use. So you need to figure out exactly what do people need and try and sell those items to those people. That way you're going to be able to not necessarily have to find a trending item every single time that's going to eventually die off. For me personally, I like to build the foundations of all of my e-commerce stores on items that I know people are actively searching for, because all that leaves me to do is make sure that I've designed my website well around the item and presented it in a way that the person is going to feel comfortable to buy the product. However, when you're consistently looking for a brand new trending item to sell, of course you're going to be able to make money in the short term, but eventually that item is going to die off and it's going to leave you in a cycle of consistently creating brand new stores all the time. However, if you're able to figure out a category or a niche that has been evergreen for the past few years and build a well-designed store around that, you're going to be able to rely on that one website over the next few years as long as you're selling evergreen products. One of the next things that I've learned about customer psychology is that most people don't want to put their credit card details into a website that they have a belief that they may end up having to return the item or file for a chargeback, because most people in this day and age are really busy. So if they believe that they may have some sort of issue with the item or your website looks like it's not been built properly, then all they're going to do is bounce off your website and go to a well-designed website that looks like they're most likely going to give them the item that they're searching for. So the key is obviously to make sure that your website is well designed, but you also need to make sure that you're giving the customer all the information they need as simply as possible. You don't want to overwhelm them with a lot of information. You need to make the whole process as seamless and easy for that customer so that you're going to be able to make that sale and then reach your goal of making $10,000 fairly quick. All right, so swiftly moving on to one of the third things that I had to do when it came to achieving all the money goals that I had with my first ever e-commerce website is that I tried to list as many products as possible. And this was for a number of different reasons. The first reason is that the more items that you have available for customers to buy, the more likely you're going to be able to obviously make more sales. Now, as you can see from this Shopify store that I'm running at the moment, I've currently got more than 50 different items available. Of course, I blocked out all of the different products that I'm selling so that you guys don't copy me, but I've got more than 50 items on this store, I'm sure, but for some reason it's only showing 50, maybe because it's only showing me the items on the first page. But it's very important to remember that if you are going to go down the route of listing as many products as possible, you need to make sure that they all come from the same category. All of these different items that you can see available right here, all of them come from the same niche. And the reason is because I'm trying to make sure that I'm building a brand selling similar items to one another. Because if you're able to do that, it's going to be easy when it comes to upselling to your customers whenever they buy something from you. Because I've got over 100 different variants on this store right now, whenever someone buys one product, I'm going to be able to upsell that customer on the checkout page with one of these different products, which is obviously going to help me increase the lifetime value of that customer. So just to clarify, I'm not saying that you need to list 50, 100, 200 products on day one, because even for myself, I started off with around 5, maybe 6 different items, and then I slowly built it up from there. But all I'm saying is that eventually you need to have the mindset of having so many different items available, because this is going to put you in a position to make sales on a consistent daily basis. Okay, so moving on to the next thing that is super important for any beginner out there when it comes to building any online business in general is understanding how free cash flow actually works. So for most of you that are watching this video, you probably never even heard of free cash flow. You probably only heard of revenue and profit. But in the early days of me building up my first ever e-commerce store, someone told me about the importance of making sure that I was monitoring my free cash flow on a monthly basis. And ever since that day, I've made sure to put a lot of priority into it. And I've broken down the formula right here for anyone that's never heard of free cash flow before. So it's simply the money that comes into your business minus the money that left your business in that same month. And the money that's left over is going to be the free cash flow. So to give you an example of how this works, let's say for example, in the month of October, $7,000 went into your business bank account. And in that same month, $5,000 left your business bank account in various different ways, whether it was product cost, whether it was taxes, whether it was whatever. There's going to be a positive free cash flow that's left over of $2,000. So this number right here isn't profit. This is the free cash flow. There's a slight difference between the two. So for me personally, on a month-to-month basis, I ideally wanted to make sure that the money that came into my business was a lot more than the money that was leaving my business. And I tried to make sure that this number right here was increasing every single month. Now, of course, there's going to be some months where this may be negative. Let's say if there's a big expense or you bought something to run your business a lot more effectively. Even though this number might be in a negative, it doesn't even mean that your business didn't make a profit in that same month. But you just want to make sure that you're monitoring this number and making sure that on average, it's increasing bit by bit. Now, the fifth and final thing that I want to share with you guys that's so important, and again, it's helped me with a lot of my online businesses, is consistency. One thing that I've noticed with so many people is that they start something because they're super excited about it on day one. They get into it and then they realize that it requires a certain level of work and then they completely give up. But it's super important to make sure that you're being consistent, even when things get difficult, especially if you know that someone else is successful with the business that you're trying to start. And again, being consistent is something that I apply with every single thing that I do, whether it's my e-commerce stores, whether it's things like my YouTube channels. Like take this channel, for example. Throughout the whole of 2022, I've made sure to post a video every single day, no days off, because whenever I'm personally trying to be successful with something, I make sure that every single day I'm working towards building that dream. So if you're currently trying to build a dropshipping store, the way that you can be consistent with it is to consistently keep learning, consistently keep looking for winning products. If you've already got your store set up, try and make sure that you're doing whatever you can do to optimize it. If you're running some sort of paid ads, make sure that you're learning about how you can optimize your paid ads even more so that you can reduce your ad spend. You need to make sure that you're thinking about your business every day and also making sure that you're taking some form of action. And then before you know it, you're going to be able to make your $10,000, and that's going to even be the minimum of what you're going to be able to make. You're going to be able to grow past that, make your first 50,000, 100,000, whatever you're trying to make, but it all starts off with being consistent. Now, if you're enjoying this video so far, don't forget to press the like button. I'll really appreciate that. Thank you so much in advance. Don't forget to subscribe as well. Hit the bell notification so that YouTube can let you know when a new video has been released. And make sure to follow me on Instagram as well. I'm going to put it on the screen right there. I'm going to be announcing a giveaway where I'm going to be giving someone around $100, maybe $200 in the next 2 weeks, and you don't want to miss it. So make sure you add me on Instagram. And if you want to watch another video that I made not too long ago where I broke down the basic steps that you need to take when it comes to starting your first ever dropshipping business that I didn't really touch on in this video, I'm going to leave that video right there. Make sure you check that video out straight after this one because it's already helped out over 20,000 people, and I'm sure that it's going to help you out too. All right, guys, I'll see you on the next one. Make sure you stay safe out there. Peace.